A very good Saturday evening. This is the weekend edition of Primetime News. We're coming to you live and direct this evening from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Joel Outscoon. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
Final rites of late Venerable Dharanagama Kusaladhamma Thera to be performed on the 8th. Water Board call for consensus on the controversial water supply project in Rajanganaya. President pledges program to provide jobs to graduates in 6 months. Kerala Ganja worth over 60 million rupees seized from Negombo.
On to news from the President's Diary this evening. President Maithripala Sirisena has pledged to enforce the program to provide job opportunities to unemployed graduates in a period of 6 months. The President was speaking at the Weber Stadium in Batticaloa.
Teaching appointments were presented to 200 graduates and 40 diploma holders at this event. Governor of the Eastern Province, Rohita Bogollagama, and several others were also present. Graduates face issues all over the country. In the next 2 months, the applications of all unemployed graduates will be reviewed and interviews will be called for. The governor informed that certain road development projects in the Batticaloa district and the Eastern Province have stalled. However, these projects have been approved. Ministers Amir and Hizbullah informed me of the same. Most of the letters relate to issues over employment, housing, roads, lands, drinking water and others. It does change based on the province. I hope to establish 2 special presidential task forces to successfully meet the development program of the North and East.
In a developing story this evening, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board says a consensus needs to be reached over the controversial water supply project that is expected to use water from the Rajanganaya reservoir.
The National Water Supply and Drainage Board says the project, which has been temporarily suspended, was aimed at providing water to areas that have a high demand and as a relief for people suffering from chronic kidney disease. A statement from the Water Board says the project would not supply water for 24 hours of the day, taking into account the difficulties experienced by farmers when the water levels of the Rajanganaya reservoir is at a low. The Water Board says there is a high possibility of restricting the amount of water obtained by limiting the supply for several hours only. Earlier this week, farmers protested in Tambuttegama against the proposed water supply project. A clash broke out between the police and the protesting farmers. Police arrested 59 people over the clash and 57 of them were remanded until the 5th of March.
A discussion was held between the farmers of the Tambuttegama area and the Minister of Agriculture, Duminda Dissanayaka, in Colombo yesterday. Now, a clash broke out recently between the Tambuttegama police and protesting farmers in the area.
Steel rods and stones were not brought by us. We are surprised of what influenced this incident. Former Minister S.M. Chandrasena, we saw various statements being made. The farmers were incited. Farmers are not well educated. When incited, the farmers become bears.
Have you met me and made me aware of the matter? Have you spoken to the Minister of Irrigation? Have you discussed this matter with the Water Board? You have acted according to your whims and fancies and created havoc in the middle of the town. As farmers, you should not become tools for someone else. The President of the country would come forward to do any assistance that you require. When the leader of the country is of that nature and when the Minister of Agriculture is the electorate organizer of Kalawava, why would you resort to actions like this? What was the reason for this provocation? What was the reason for you to panic? Farmers protested in the streets and they set tires ablaze. They slept on the street. The police attacked them. They went to jail. Now the farmers are going to court. The provincial councillor who arrived with the bonus went to parliament after beating all of us. That is the secret behind this. You have showcased the mistakes of this government. You have not just pointed the finger, you have raised your hand and slapped the government. The government has felt it. This country is a country that can be developed. You must become a challenge to whatever political party who is trying to get political mileage while destroying the country. Look at the Uma Oil project. Look at the destruction that has been caused. The farmers in the Central Hill country have to face this. The site issue and the garbage mountain is the same. Everyone is shouting that they are innocent. You know they are not. Vote for whoever you want. We do not care. Do not destroy the country. We are prepared to go home. We cannot let people dance the way they want.
Ravindra Samarveera, the Minister of Sustainable Development and Wildlife, met with officers attached to the Palatupana Wildlife Office in the Yala National Park today.
The officials had informed the minister on the treatment given to injured wild elephants. The meeting coincided with World Wildlife Day. The minister also toured the Yala National Park. There will be incidents in any political party. There has never been a political party in the history of this country which hasn't had a shortcoming. Issues have arisen following the recent elections. The supporters have sent a message to the government at the election. We hope to enforce the restructuring with that message and move ahead.
The former party activists of the United National Party have begun to speak out about the party crisis. Former parliamentarian of the United National Party, Ranjan Wijewardena, expressed the following views.
I had to give up politics because of Minister Sagala Ratnayaka. After he received the ministerial position, he did not even come to the village. He is in Colombo. He only comes when Ranil comes here. These are the reasons for the sad state of affairs in the United National Party. At one instance, a party supporter from Veligama went before the Sirikota and committed self-immolation. My father was appointed as the first parliamentarian of the United National Party following the 1960 election. I have a picture with me of my father with D.S. Senanayaka when he arrived in Mathura. It was because of my father that I received the opportunity to contest the election in 1989 and to win it, becoming the second in the district. Gamini Fonseca was the first. Because the number of preferential votes I received went down in 1994, I lost. I was working thereafter as a UNP Mathura organizer. In the 94 election, I supported Ronnie Dimel. He requested that I contest the local government elections in 1998. At that time, Ranil Wickremesinghe asked me to see him. He said, Ranjan, you need money to contest elections and money is a bit hard to come by. I felt this was an attempt to bring in Sagala Ratnayaka into politics. During the run-up to that local government election, Ranil had called all UNP leaders and told them this. When we look at the situation of the party, we are deeply saddened. The United National Party does not have its former standard now. They produce people who are rejected by the masses for the elections. If Ranil Wickremesinghe steps down from the party leadership and if a young person is appointed, then once again we will work towards making the UNP victorious.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe returned to the country last night, concluding his visit to Singapore. Now this morning, Wickremesinghe visited Qatar for religious purposes.
The Prime Minister first visited the Qatar Kirivehera and obtained blessings. Later, the Prime Minister visited the Ashtapola Bodhi and the Qatargama Mahadevalaya for religious observances.
In more news this evening, JVP members who were elected to local government councils called on the leader of the party in Colombo today for a meeting.
The election results have shown the biggest setback the United National Party government has suffered. This is the biggest setback they suffered while in government. The United National Party lost control of certain local government bodies in which they have control when they were not in government. Today, because of the election results, there is an uprising from within the United National Party against Ranil Wickremesinghe, against his post of Prime Minister. Different groups are rising from within the United National Party. Ranil Wickremesinghe had associated former presidents and become close to some of them. However, he was never able to become president. Therefore, his program for the past 3 years was aimed at becoming president. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe must understand the election results have shown he will never get the opportunity.
Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government Faiz Mustafa looked into proper disposal of garbage at several locations in Colombo.
A discussion was held at the Ministry of Provincial Councils and Local Government regarding waste disposal.
We
have seen a trend where people dispose garbage at public places adjacent to congested areas. We have to question the moral values of the people. When there are boards put up asking people not to dispose garbage at a certain location, they dispose it there. We have seen garbage being disposed around state institutions in public places. We have provided instructions to file legal action against the head of a state institution if there are reports of garbage being dumped on roads by that particular state institution. In the past, the participation of the people were high in these areas. Now we see that it has reduced and the people disposing garbage on the road.
ජනතාව මේ පාට මහ පාට කුණු ගේනී ප්‍රවණතාවයක් අපි දැක්කා. මේ වෙනකොට මානව සභාවේ මේ නාගරික කොමසාරිස්වරයා අයින් කරලා තියෙනවා. නාගරික කොමසාරිස්
The governor should be the one taking action against the commissioner. It is better if you can ask for a comment from the governor regarding this. There are various matters stated in the Meethamola report. I believe the governor will have to take action based on that report.
යම් යම් තීන්දුව తీරන ගැනීමට සිදු වෙනවා.
J.C. Alawathwala yesterday assumed duties as the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs.
The Ministry of Home Affairs has a responsibility of uplifting the lives of the people of this country. The district secretariats, divisional secretariats and the Grama Ladari officers share the same responsibility. The ministry's reach is to that extent and renders a great service to the people.
The United National Freedom Front held a meeting for all its party representatives at the Mahavali Centre today.
We cannot figure out whether there is a government or not. There is a Prime Minister, but it is as if he is not there. He does not listen to other people. Things do not happen the way he wants it to happen. Whatever decision the UNP takes, it does not become a reality. You can see the state the Prime Minister is in. You can see the state he is in because of the bond scam. The Prime Minister, through the bond scam, has taught the best lesson for any politician. It is something you cannot learn even if you have 25 PhDs. Think about it for a minute. This is a country that can be a great country. This is a respectable country. This is a country that had won international praise. This was a country that would achieve economic welfare and a country that can work in reconciliation. From the day the Prime Minister came in, they robbed. They stole from the central bank and now they are helpless. They have shown how greedy they are for money. When we were trying to drive the Rajapaksas out in 2015, I did not think that they will be defeated. We must be thankful to the people of the country. If a person like this was made president, he would never leave. If this was the UNP, he will be like Robert Mugabe. The party leader is within the party as well. He created many issues within the party. He is doing so now as well.
38-year-old Kalimuttu Balasundaram is a differently abled man living in the Darwal village in Sandurigamam estate in Dayagama, Nurelia. This is Kalimuttu's story.
Kalimuttu's parents passed away when he was just a child. While his relatives took care of him during his younger years, they too have abandoned him, leaving Kalimuttu helpless. It was Kalimuttu's friend that took him in, took care of him, and nursed him. Though Kalimuttu's friend opened up his home to him, the friend too has 3 children and a wife to take care of. And the economic burden is very high on the friend who is taking care of this differently abled man. Kalimuttu is a Samurdhi beneficiary. However, to obtain his Samurdhi, Kalimuttu has to travel over 25 kilometers.
Now, farmers from Alayapattu in Anuradhapura who have been battered by the drought are faced with another problem. And this problem is encroaching wild elephants, destroying their cultivations.
For months, the farmers in Alayapattu, Anuradhapura have been facing difficulties due to dry weather. These farmers have been compelled to travel far and wide to bring back water to their village and engage in banana, coconut and other cultivations with many aspirations. However, wild elephants that encroach the area daily have posed a threat to their cultivations. A herd of wild elephants had done the same last night and left nothing behind.
හැන්දෑවේ 6-7 වෙනකොට අලි එනවා. ඉතින් නියං කාලේ අපි ජීවත් වෙන්නේ මේ කීලකම් විකුණලා තමයි. ඉතින් ලිඳෙන් වතුර ඇදලා දාලා තමයි අපි හිටවලා තියෙන්නේ.
These wild elephants encroach from the Wilpatha Forest Reserve.
It is with great difficulty that we cultivate coconut. A herd of 30 to 25 elephants came last night. The villagers used flares and drove them away with the greatest difficulty. Therefore, we request authorities to construct an electric fence and to protect all the farmers and their cultivations.
Police Special Task Force personnel arrested 4 known associates of the underworld figure known as Dadalige Manju. Now, Dadalige Manju was killed in a police shootout recently.
Commandant of the Special Task Force, Senior DIG M.R. Latif said several weapons and narcotics were seized from the possession of the suspects. The suspects will be produced before the Wattala magistrate tomorrow. Dadalige Manju was killed in a shootout with police in Wattala recently, and 2 of his associates were arrested on that day. This morning, police arrested another criminal known as Rohita Pereira, alias Paspodda, and 2 others in Nadagamu, Gampaha. They were arrested in a raid, and Paspodda is involved in a series of crimes. Police said the suspects were arrested this morning when a door-to-door search was carried out in Nadagamu, Kotogoda. A T-56 assault rifle and 58 bullets, 1 magazine, a US-made automatic pistol, a .38 caliber revolver and bullets were seized from the suspects. Among the suspects was a 29-year-old who is known as Alea.
Now, Police Special Task Force personnel arrested a suspect from Negombo for the possession of Kerala ganja worth over 60 million rupees.
Authorities seized a total of 403 kilograms of Kerala ganja from the possession of the suspect. The STF said the suspect was arrested when transporting the narcotics from Jaffna in a van. Personnel attached to the Kadawatha camp of the Special Task Force conducted a raid following a tip-off. A senior rank of the STF said the suspect and the Kerala ganja were handed over to the Negombo police for investigations.
The Korea Eximbank says once Sri Lanka reaches higher middle income status, the country will no longer be eligible for concessionary loans under their program.
Korea Eximbank approved its first Economic Development Corporation Fund under the Official Development Assistance Project for Sri Lanka in 1990 for the rehabilitation of the Colombo Galle Road. As of now, it has approved $785.07 million for 29 development projects in Sri Lanka.
We have worked with the Sri Lankan government to develop the Sri Lankan economy, and then I think if the Sri Lanka reach the higher middle income countries, as the vision of Vision 2025, and then the motto is to enrich the country. That means that is to reach higher the middle income countries. After that, I think Sri Lanka government cannot get the concessional loan from EDCF anymore. Maybe at that time the most of finance is on the basis of a commercial basis. That's why Sri Lanka at that time I think we needed to consider whether we retreat from Sri Lanka or still. Maybe it's the trade volume and the investment also the main areas that we are working for.
In terms of the loan amounts committed from EDCF, Sri Lanka is ranked at 5th place among all 55 eligible countries. From this total EDFC commitment of $785.07 million, $385 million has been allocated to the transportation sector. In addition, the Korea International Cooperation Agency announced its total assistance to Sri Lanka since 1987 to 2016 was just over $734 million.
An event was held in Colombo this morning to declare open the office of Katha Charity in Sri Lanka. Now, Katha Charity is a Gulf origin non-governmental organization dedicated to carrying out humanitarian and development programs to fight global poverty in the world.
The event was attended by a gathering including the Executive Director of Operations of Katha Charity, Faisal bin Rashid Al Faida, Ambassador of Qatar of Sri Lanka, Rashid bin Shafia Al Mari, and ministers and MPs from the government of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajith Premadasa, attended the event as a guest of honor.
I'm happy and I welcome the opening of the charity office in Colombo, when our government is poised to launch the country into the status of a modern state. We believe in the principles of leaving no one behind. Together with the protection of political rights, we are determined to ensure that the economic and social rights of the citizens of our country are enhanced and protected. I wish to announce that my ministry, Ministry of Housing and Construction, will from today establish a separate unit within my institution to coordinate directly with Katha Charity in order to address the housing problem of the people of Sri Lanka.
Starting off sports news this evening, the second leg of the 19th Sri Lanka Air Force cycle race, organised in line with the 67th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Air Force, took place today. The Champion Network, inclusive of Sports First, is the official media sponsor for this event.
The second leg began from the Puttalam town at 9 a.m. today. The cycle race is taking place under 3 stages. More than 170 local and international cyclists are competing for bragging rights at this year's cycle race. Some of the dominant teams are from the 3 armed forces, the Sri Lanka Army, the Sri Lanka Ports Authority and the Dehiwala Mount Lavinia Urban Council. The race will span across a total area of 440 kilometers and the second leg from Puttalam to Hinguragoda was 165 kilometers. Sri Lanka Navy cyclist Janaka Hemantha won the second leg, while Lakshman Vijayaratna of Sri Lanka Army and Buddhika Varnakula Surya of Sri Lanka Air Force finished in second and third respectively. The third and final leg of the race will begin tomorrow from Hinguragoda. We won the race last year and we hope to retain the crown. We were hoping for a win yesterday, but we had a small setback. I can say the Sri Lanka Navy team will win the cycle race.
And in news from the big match fever, the 89th Battle of the Maroons played between Ananda College and Nalanda College commenced at the SSC grounds in Colombo today.
Nalanda College skipper Lakshita Rasanjana won the toss and invited Ananda College, captained by Asel Sigera, to bat first. The Anandian openers did not make a positive start and the team was bundled out for 141 runs in 52 overs. Vice-captain Lahiru Attanayaka scored 58 while Daminda Reshan chipped in with 24. Chamindu Vijay Singh was the pick of the bowlers for Nalanda College, picking up 6 for 52 while Suhanga Vijayawardena bagged 4 for 33. At stumps today, Nalanda College batting their first innings for 102 runs for the loss of 5 in 34 overs. Avishka Pereira scored 24 and Dilhara Polgampola scored 23. Lakshita Rasanjana was unbeaten on 21. Shamal Hirushan picked up 2 wickets for 17 for Ananda College.
Keeping with the big match fever, the 84th Battle of the Saints between St. Peter's College Bamlapitia and St. Joseph's College Maradana ended in a draw today.
The Peterites, who had the toss in their favour, decided to bowl first. The Josephians put up 195 runs in their first innings in 53.2 overs. Captain Jehan Daniel scored a mammoth 93. For the Peterites, Sachin Silva bagged 3 wickets for 20 runs. Batting in their first innings, the Peterites scored 244 in 60 overs. Samit Fernando scored 58. Ashen Daniel took 2 Peterite wickets for 41 runs. Batting in their second innings, St. Joseph's College declared after scoring 237 for the loss of 8 wickets in 83 overs. Dinethwella Alage scored 44 runs. Ruvin Senimiratna took 4 Josephian wickets for 50 runs. The match was drawn when St. Peter's College were batting in their second innings. They were on 57 for the loss of 1 wicket at the end of 9.2 overs. Peterite captain Santosh Gunatilaka scored 39 runs.
Well, on that note, we wrap the weekend edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. More news follows on our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Joel Outscoon. Have yourself a great evening ahead.